So this chapter is super text heavy. Almost as if Togashi said, fuck it, you can read the whole Bible for this one. Lots and lots of dialogue and lots of character intros in this chapter, and we know in typical Togashi fashion, they're going to be somewhat important to the plot at some point in time in the future, and there's lots of gloomy foreshadowing in this chapter. But before we get into the video, make sure to like, comment, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But the chapter opens up where we left off with Henry and mob boss Wang stood outside the room that had Vacante's ability active inside of it. Henry throws his knife in at the creepy old dude, only for the creepy old dude to disappear into smoke after being hit in the leg with the knife, meaning he has some sort of cloning ability making him either a conjurer or an emitter of some sort. Maybe, possibly, who knows. But I do find it interesting how we could see into the room and how the old guy could see out, but when a regular human walked in, they couldn't be seen. It makes me wonder if the room reacts to whatever person walks in, and if they're not made out of Nen, they are transported to the kill room and quickly and violently disposed of. The possibilities for Nen are truly endless. But to further back up my point here, Short Stuff here walks into the room with Henry telling him not to, but the second he steps foot inside that room, he is immediately yoinked out of existence and quickly and violently disposed of, as I just mentioned. Again, this dude was a normal human and not something made out of Nen or conjured. I could be wrong here, but that's just my working theory on this for this room and this power. I also like that Henry did make the conscious effort to at least persuade this dude or tell this dude not to walk into the room, only for him to completely disregard Henry and do it anyway. We see Henry giving off the reaction of, oh, for fuck's sake, what a total balloon. I am growing to really like Henry's character the more we get of him on the pages, and I do hope Togashi doesn't do anything nefarious to him. Please, we need more characters like Henry in here. I actually really enjoy him being on the pages. But swiftly moving on, we see Short Stuff here realizing the error of his ways when he tries to turn back to escape, only to be quickly disposed of. This is where we're introduced to a multitude of characters who have recently all acquired Nen abilities through Morena's contagion ability, which, if you need a quick refresher on Morena's contagion ability, it allows her to bestow Nen abilities on those she kisses. But there's a catch. They're all given levels 1 to 100, and they don't earn these abilities straight away. They must kill 20 people to unlock their abilities. Once they reach level 100, they can then also spread the contagion ability themselves. So as you can imagine, Morena is quite the threat in the Succession War, purely due to the fact that she can spread an army of her minions out really fast, really quickly. And with no shortage of supply of candidates for this ability upon that ship, she's not running out of livestock for this anytime soon. But we see Short Stuff here bite the dust, and we are introduced to Chiffon, Terrabellum, and Mont Blanc, who are all in this room filled with body parts that they are just casually and coldly getting rid of. Honestly, the Haley family is ruthless, and I forgot just how dark Hunter x Hunter can get as a general series. It's very human and very realistic and very cold. It's at this point that we switch back to Morena, who's having a conversation with a bunch of new chaps, and we are introduced to Sufel, Dogman, Sodom, Yokotani, Orage, Notra, and Matt Veer. If you're feeling slightly overwhelmed by all of that, then don't worry, because so was I. As much as I love Togashi and I love the world of Hunter x Hunter, having chapters be so text heavy with lots of introductions like this is definitely one of the series' weak points for me personally, and at a certain point it starts to feel less like a chapter of manga and more like a whole ass novel that we're reading here. But we see Morena talking with these new chaps about a plan to have one of Tserriednich's men captured and placed under Morena's ability so that he can gain information on his movements, his whereabouts, and most importantly what his plan is. And it's been a couple of chapters now since we last saw Tserriednich, and considering the progress he was making in the last time that we saw him, I am very intrigued to see where he's at this time around. We don't really have any idea of how much time has passed in the manga since we last saw him, but I'm going to assume it's been a couple of days now, and considering that this dude was picking up Nen in hours as opposed to weeks and months and days, giving him a couple of days time might be, you know, creating a massive disadvantage for the other princes that are wanting to win this Succession War. But speaking of Tserriednich, we're also introduced to a whole group of soldiers who are apparently childhood friends of Tserriednich. We see them talking about Tserriednich and coming to the conclusion / figuring out that the reason he hasn't moved against Morena yet is due to him learning Nen, which, as far as we know, isn't massively public knowledge yet, and there's only a select few amount of people that actually know this. But these smarty pants seem to have figured it out. I also want to point out the gloomy foreshadowing here in this chapter involving Morena and these new characters we've been introduced to. Morena is making plans to yoink someone close to Tserriednich so she can learn what his next steps are and when he'll make them. And who have we just been introduced to that fits these descriptions perfectly? Yeah, you guessed it. And to add more points to this, this, the final pages, we see one of them mentioning, if the prince is trying to learn Nen now, does that mean we could use it too? Now, if that doesn't sound like a recipe for a disaster, I don't know what does. Overall, this was a big chapter. We are all definitely edging very closer to the end of this arc. I will say I'm not a fan of these text-heavy chapters. My little monkey brain cannot handle it, but when the action kicks off, I imagine in a couple more chapters, I'm going to be very excited. It is going to be very much worth it. But that's all from me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, maybe even consider becoming a member to support the channel further. Much love, big kisses, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.